Hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and we are here to make you guys some money. By way of winning fantasy football championships, even if you're not in a cash league, we're helping you to win that championship today by playing best ball fantasy football. If you're not familiar with that, it's just like doing a mock draft, except it's real life. I am sitting here with semi-professional gambler, not a public figure, NFL insider, James. James, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us here today.
I'm doing fantastic. The early access for college football started today. I've been playing it since it launched. Very happy.
How's UCF doing?
UCF is doing great right now. KJ Jefferson just won Big 12 Player of the Week. So
okay,
with a good 349 yards and 5 touchdowns. So
is that good?
So far, I think so.
What are you playing? Easy mode, rookie mode, whatever? Freshman mode?
American, which is like the level below Heisman. So like the second to most difficult.
Oh, okay. So you're absolutely balling with UCF already,
I'm trying.
Putting up absolutely massive numbers. James is a semi-professional sports gambler, highly successful. You can check our numbers. I am a semi-professional best ball fantasy football player. You can also check my numbers. I had a whole video on the channel of that, where I put up 60% profit last year. There's a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that would blush at an ROI like that, James. I'm not going to point anybody out, but Dan Crenshaw and Nancy Pelosi would be pretty impressed by something like that.
Wow. I can't follow your stock trades automatically through an application. This is some BS.
I have been looking into that as well, but you know what, James? Just every dollar that I don't put into best ball fantasy football, I just, in my opinion, is a bad investment because I'm so darn good at it. With all the jokes aside, very successful at this. I'm better than most people who have a bigger following on social media. So thanks for watching the video. And we are going to play a round of best ball fantasy football. If you don't know what best ball is, it's just a draft. You have no recourse of managing your roster after that. 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 flex is the roster. It's an 18-round draft, so we're going to get down into the nitty-gritty. We're going to have player takes. We're going to talk about our gambling predictions. Maybe we can get some Nick Chubb after the squat video that was posted today. Did you see that, James, by chance?
I did. Some handsome man with a mustache sent that to me earlier today, and I was like,
"Oh, that's nice of him.
That's a good squat. It looks pretty good. Looks healthy."
Yeah, so if you missed it, Nick Chubb posted a squat video. We recently saw last week of him doing lateral jumps over a small little cone or whatever. This week, we saw him do a set of 2 with a tsunami bar. If you don't know what a tsunami bar is, it's a bendy bar. So it's got like more bend than you would want in your back squat bar. It makes the rep, I would say, 20% more difficult. He did, by my math, it was 565, I think. He did that for 2 reps, which means if he was using a stiff bar, like a powerlifting bar, he could probably do somewhere in the neighborhood of like 650 for 2 at the moment. People are still pessimistic about Nick Chubb's outlook on the season. We both recommended, you brought it up, I backed you at +1 or +1,400 for Nick Chubb to win comeback player of the year. After that squat video, I don't think that number is still available. And if you can still find it, I'd go ahead and get it right now because it's the best number you're going to get. Because as we get closer to the season, we're going to see some clips of him practicing. And I think he's going to be ready for. I said the one thing I think I did get wrong is, and our draft is starting soon, is that I think I said that he was going to start on IR. I no longer have that opinion. I think Nick Chubb's going to be ready to go week 1. I think the only question now is how many opportunities is he going to get in week 1? And does the team hold him out despite him being physically ready to play in week 1? We'll be interested to see when the Browns report for camp to see if Chubb gets put on the PUP list or if he's just ready to go at the beginning of training camp. It's pretty exciting to see, James.
I'm pretty excited about it. Currently, comeback player of the year is off the board.
I wonder why.
So they must have gotten my second round of bets after I saw that squat video.
We have been known to move the numbers on our very small gambling podcast because we are so efficient. Some of the Vegas insiders will watch our videos and move their numbers accordingly. Because they know how efficient we are, just not everybody else knows how efficient we are yet. And we are getting started here, James. So this is James's. Where are we picking? Where are we picking? We are picking number 9 overall. James, how much research have you put into fantasy football and redraft purposes? I know you're a big dynasty guy. You're in a league with me. How much time and energy have you put into redraft leagues so far this offseason?
I looked at a list right before this.
Sweet. So you have a sort of an idea of like ADP and where average draft position and where things are falling.
That's what I do have pulled up right now is ADP rankings.
Yep. So they'll probably be pretty consistent with these. Different platforms will have slightly different ADP, especially once you get later into the drafts, like the 5th and 6th round, they really start to differ. But it'll be pretty consistent here as far as I can tell. Any names jumping off the board at the moment for you, James?
I mean, Chris McCaffrey obviously has to go first, right? I mean, just has that ability. Tyreek Hill, I think, would be my second pick after that.
Half PPR. So you're a Tyreek Hill over CD Lamb guy. I want both of them. So I'll just let ADP determine which ones I should be picking. And so far this offseason, CD Lamb's been going 2 overall. I got my first pick. I'm on the clock, 32nd pick. And this is going to be a pretty easy one for me. I'm going to take A.J. Brown. Puka Nacua was also an option there. Garrett Wilson, also an option there. But they're just, honestly, James, I do so many of these that I want to diversify my portfolio. And I like all 3 of these guys so equally that I don't mind just taking the highest ADP in the first round. It's not going to stay that way for the rest of the draft. After round 1, I get a little bit more freaky with my picks, but I never reach too far. And that's one of the main tenets of best ball drafting is you want to draft, kind of ride that ADP through the draft. Anything jump out at you, James?
Just a little shocked that Jahmyr Gibbs went right after that at 10. That's a little early.
I like taking Jahmyr Gibbs around 12. If the guys I just got done talking about, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua are off the board, I'll take Jahmyr Gibbs just for the fact that he was running back 3 after he came back from his hamstring in, I believe, week 8. He came back. I'm gonna take Jonathan Taylor there, even when
not Derrick Henry, my boy.
I'm not gonna be taking Derrick Henry. They're taking Jonathan Taylor, a guy I don't want to fade. Derrick Henry, James, believe it or not, might fall back down to me here at 33. I've seen Kyron there a lot. I've seen Derrick Henry there a lot. Now I've got a running back in round 2, so I'm pretty comfortable probably taking a wide receiver there as well. But if one of those guys fall to me, I'm going to have a tough time.
Would you double
denying them?
Devontae Smith here, would that be a strategy? If you have the
Devontae Smith, I would, but I'm not a Devontae Smith guy. I don't have a problem with double stacking like that. It's not a massive deal to me. Devontae Smith has never been my cup of tea. I think he's always kind of been that like Jamar Chase, like the second round variation of him, where people just love drafting him for whatever reason. I don't know if he's got like a cool name or what, but
the Slim Reaper.
That is a cool name. It's a cool name, but I like when what's cooler than drafting players with cool names? Winning cool fantasy football championships. So that's why I'm going to err on the side of that. David Montgomery, when he came back, Jahmyr Gibbs was still like, I think running back like 6 or 7 in that short sample size. Montgomery was still running back like 16. So he's still going to be valuable either way, but I'm not taking him or I'm not scared of taking Jahmyr Gibbs at the end of the second round there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Devon Achane?
I'm not high on it. I think
it's crazy.
I think Mike in Miami likes to play the hot hand. So he has shown no like running back 1 ever. I feel like whoever's playing well can get the ball.
Wait until you see how far Raheem Mostert is down the field. They also drafted a running back too. Jalen Wright's over there now too.
Mike McDaniels is a modern thinker when it comes to running backs and understands that they get injured quite often. I especially when they're 185 pounds, right? So
That's not a pick I'm ever going to make on purpose. Achane in the second or third round, I would highly recommend against it. And we are going to be up here.
No Travis Kelce yet. Interesting.
Nope. Sam Laporta is currently tight end 1 in fantasy football. So I'm going to make a controversial pick here, and I'm going to take Michael Pittman. People are hating on Michael Pittman right now. People are not fans of him. And I've read their takes on it, and I just don't understand why. I thought the whole point of fantasy football is drafting good players on good teams. And I think Michael Pittman is that. I think maybe people just haven't been watching the film or something, or they're afraid that Gardner Minshew is going to be a way, way better quarterback over there than Anthony Richardson. As a passer, I mean, AR's got an absolute cannon. They drafted another wide receiver that might help open up the field, if anything, over there in Indianapolis with Adonai Mitchell.
And it's best ball. It's not like you need this guy to have a consistent.
Doesn't need to be super consistent. Yeah,
his whole run is
exactly.
going to be amazing compared to all these other wide receivers. Like his ceiling is a lot higher. His floor is just a little bit lower.
He's going to have spike weeks. His floor is low, but I guess probably Tank Dell would probably have a slightly higher ceiling. Michael Pittman's ceiling is.
Then I'm not taking anybody in Houston. No way. Michael
Pittman was gone. I would have taken Tank Dell. Even though I like George Pickens a little bit more than him, if I'm entirely honest. A guy who I kind of like more than Michael Pittman, but I'm not going to ever reach on him because this exact situation will happen, is Amari Cooper. He was an absolute savage when Deshaun Watson was healthy on the field, and I expect Deshaun to improve. He might just have that year 3 post-scandal Michael Vick-like bounce-back season that a lot of his managers have been waiting for. And Amari Cooper, again, good offense, good player. He's, if you want to talk about consistency and best ball purposes, his spike weeks are going to be as high as ever. Yeah. And just like Michael Pittman, just like A.J. Brown. I mean, I think that's why A.J. Brown is going ahead of Puka Nacua and guys of that like. Now, Marvin Harrison. James, what are your thoughts on him going overall?
I was actually just thinking about him because I think, he's immediately wide receiver 1 in Arizona. I mean, I think he'll maybe have a little bit of a learning curve, but he's going to get targets. There's no doubt about that. The question
but is he going to get enough targets to make it worth taking guys like Jalen Waddle after him, Jonathan Taylor? I'm not a big fan of these guys over here, but Ayuk, Mike Evans, at the end of the day, he's still a rookie, and I get he's going to be good, and I don't want to make it sound like
dynasty best ball.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've talked about this on this podcast before, where I think people confuse the format. Because they have these guys in dynasty, and they're like, that's awesome. I've got this young superstar talent like Smith, like Jamar Chase, guys that are young and good in dynasty that you would love to have in dynasty, but you're like, you're only getting them in 2024. And when older guys like DK Metcalf and Mike Evans are still kind of in their prime, I'm gonna side with them over these super duper youngsters that.
Plus, exactly what you're going to get from them. I mean,
exactly.
What level of targets they're going to get relatively. Some of them might have a different offensive coordinator, but you understand the floor a lot more, which can be. That's usually how I draft fantasy. Now, to be fair, I don't do best ball. You just do like normal 1 season fantasy.
Yeah,
I'm a big floor guy. I just like to get people that I know are always going to have good weeks.
Yeah. Especially in these early rounds. I mean, we're talking about spike weeks a lot and inconsistency with a couple of these early picks that I took, particularly with Amari Cooper. With that being said, even in best ball, your early picks, you want that consistency. You want that guy that'll score on your roster every single week. So those spike week guys that you pick later on, like Rashid Shaheed or whatever, maybe Nick Chubb if we're lucky.
Rondale Moore.
Really. I will not be picking Rondale Moore. I'm sorry. That's That's not gonna be an option for me. So there's your Travis Kelce. So in this draft, he usually doesn't go ahead of Sam Laporta, but he does here. Travis Kelce goes 41. What are your thoughts on Kelce and Laporta's outlook this season after being
panic run on tight ends over here, huh?
Yeah, people really like their early tight ends. I'll take, if something falls here or there, I'll take a tasty little treat. But that's like literally 1 out of 100 drafts I'll do. I'll take an early tight end. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
When the goal of this
over Laporta, just because he's a more known commodity. Laporta had a fantastic last year, but I also know Kelce's just going to be consistent year after year.
Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy, for sure. I'm just concerned that they're going to really start, taking a look at his snaps, week in and week out in the regular season.
Somebody who can spend $10 million a year to keep him healthy.
Yeah, I get it. I am up here. Keenan Allen, Jayden Reed, James Cook are the top 3 ADP picks here. And I'm going to go ahead and take James Cook. Jayden Reed, easily, if we get done with this season and Jayden Reed's the number 3 receiver, number 4 receiver on this team, who's going to be surprised? Not me. Not me. I'll tell you that much. I mean, even Wicks over there, it's just such a muddy wide receiver room in Green Bay. I'd rather not take a giant swing on a guy like Jayden Reed this early in drafts when I can take a James Cook, who, I mean, people were saying like he lost his bell cow role here and there last season. Scored a lot of fantasy points. All right. He scored a lot of fantasy points, highly productive. Maybe his touches went down in a game here and a game there. But at the end of the day, he had 237 carries, 1,122 yards, and 44 receptions on top of that for 445 yards as well. The only thing he didn't luck into was touchdowns last season, but he's on a good offense, and they just lost a lot of threats in the receiving game on that offense. Maybe James Cook picks up a few of those receptions or a few of those touchdowns, James.
Probably more efficient offense with less drama going on each week about play calling. So that probably helps a lot too.
I'd say that might help a lot, Mr. James. But what do you know about the ins and outs of these? So now I have a really tough pick here, James, and I'd like your input on it. Keenan Allen, Xavier Worthy.
I'd go Xavier Worthy.
I like Xavier Worthy, but I'm gonna take Keenan Allen.
Hamstrings, man. Hamstrings.
This is, well, so if you want to bring up hamstrings, Xavier Worthy has a camp string already. He does have a little bit of an injury. I'm sure he'll be ready for camp or whatever. Keenan Allen, the only reason I'm taking it is a strategy decision because he fell really, really far here. Keenan Allen did. Keenan Allen usually goes 53.9. So he fell almost a whole round there.
Wow.
So I'm going to go ahead and take my pieces of Keenan Allen here. With that being said, I personally have like 30% of these drafts. I'll draft Xavier Worthy. So because of that, here I'm going to choose to diversify a little bit and take Keenan Allen, really high floor guy, way higher than Worthy in my opinion, James. And maybe Worthy has a little bit higher ceiling, but I'm going to bet on the veteran here with hopefully a good rookie quarterback. I don't need Keenan Allen to be the bona fide, wide receiver 1 on that team like he was last year.
DJ Moore's just going to run go routes, so Keenan Allen can definitely get his in routes, which is what he likes. Yeah,
he'll be underneath. He'll be the target guy there, and it's a half PPR league. So that's a really, really that's a guy I'm happy to get as my 4th wide receiver, as my flex on this team so far. I have A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Amari Cooper, James Cook, and Keenan Allen. James, how do you feel about my draft so far?
I'm liking it. I'm really feel like we need a quarterback or a tight end with this next pick, though.
Yeah. I did miss out on quarterback there. Anthony Richardson, I would have definitely taken him if he had fallen those extra 2 spots.
Where is Spencer Rattler going?
Spencer Rattler? I think you'd be surprised that he's going undrafted in most of these drafts, James. Can you believe that?
I would grab him with the last pick.
I will not condone that. But if you wanna log on, use promo code JAMJKSHB. It's my name right there, and you'll get your first deposit matched. So up to I think it's 100 or 150 or 200 or something like that. It's a pretty good amount.
That.
Yeah. James is like, wait, I can put in 10K and get my first deposit rematch. That's what James is thinking, because he's a professional gambler and he loves getting deals like that. But
I would definitely put a large amount of money in and just hope for like a 10% return on the free money. So.
Well, hopefully we can coach you up into more of a 50 or 60% return on investment this year. We'll see. I'm probably not going to luck out on a Puka Nacua that I had like 50% of last year. Drafted him in half of my drafts. That went pretty well. So I'm not going to reach on quarterback here, James. There's just none of them even in this ballpark. Jordan Addison, JSN, Keon Coleman. No. Najee Harris. No.
Brock Purdy gone?
No, he's not going to go until way after my next pick. I think I'm going to take Jake Ferguson here.
Oh, Jay Ferg.
He's my first tight end. He was a red zone target machine, basically same situation this year. And really just the guys that I have available, I'm not super excited about. So I'm going to go ahead and get my first tight end off the board. And I'm probably thinking already I might be going a 3 quarterback, 2 tight end build here.
I feel like Jake is a good floor guy. I think he's going to get a lot of targets and be consistent every week. If you could match him with a home run guy like a Brock Bowers, that could be really interesting.
I'm not going to be drafting. He just goes way too high. Brock Bowers already be drafting as like tight end 13, and he's a rookie. And he's got I believe he's got where did he end up? Las Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, he's got not the best quarterback throwing in the ball. A great quarterback that this podcast loves, but not the best. I have a really tough decision here too. I've got Curtis Samuel, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert. We kind of teased Raheem Mostert earlier.
I know who you're going with though. It's got to be Curtis Samuel.
I love Curtis Samuel. I already have 4 wide receivers.
Do it.
I got Mostert. I've been drafting Curtis sandwiches in like 45% of my drafts. I can't stop drafting him. I love him, but I already have 4 who I consider really solid wide receivers on this team, and now I have 3 who I consider really solid running backs on this team as well. Yeah. So I could get really, really funky here, James, and even do like a 4 running back, 2 tight end build and kind of see who my favorite players are in the last couple of rounds after I get my 3 quarterbacks. So quarterbacks that we're going to start coming up on some quarterbacks here. Curtis Samuel is a guy who will just fall for no reason as well. So if he does fall to me at 105, which he just got picked, if he does fall to me at 105 there, I would be taking him, and it's happened a lot. Raheem Mostert at the moment, I think his stock is rising. So in my opinion, he's a little bit less likely to fall. So for that reason, I'm gonna err on the side of Raheem Mostert, and I just haven't drafted him enough. He was running back 3 last year overall, and he probably just will be again this year. I think he's the number 1 there in Miami. He does go with the hot hand, but he's the bell cow. He's the guy that they're really going to hand the ball off.
I think it's you're not taking a ton of risk by taking him there.
Yeah.
Now A-Chain of that early big risk.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert, he was over 200 carry season last year with a couple of injuries here and there. I'd expect him to get pretty similar opportunity in an offense that's just going to rule again this year. So
they're going to be
even feel. What's that?
They're going to be very fun to watch.
They were fun to watch last year. They'd be fun to watch this year. As long as Skinny Tua stays healthy, I'm a little bit nervous. He got skinny now. I don't like that. Would like a fat Tua, but I can't decide. So here we are. And I also just don't have to worry about running back. Like a running back will fall to me.
He just got rid of his baby fat. That's how you. He still had that when he was in college.
So I'm going to start sweating this out. I got Jaden Daniels here.
Yeah.
He's currently going QB 11. His ADP is 101. All of these guys already have at least one quarterback. These next three guys that are about to draft. So either they're going to be really inefficient with their pick, which is positive EV for me, or I'm going to get Jaden Daniels after ADP as my first quarterback. He could be top 6 quarterback this year in fantasy. The passing's probably not going to be there this year, but he, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the rest of the class in terms of what he can do with his feet. And that's what scores points in fantasy football, James.
Yes, it does. Oh, there's my boy, Brock Bowers. Let's go.
Brock Bowers did fall. He did fall a good amount. I don't like rookie tight ends.
12 is a genius.
Whatever, James. I'm not drafting a rookie tight end that high. 2 rounds after where Jake Ferguson went, it just doesn't make sense to me. That offense is going to stink.
Do we double stack the rookie quarterbacks here and just hope one of them pans out this year?
You think? No, I'm not going to take another rookie quarterback because Caleb's already gone.
Oh, I didn't see Caleb was not my pot. My bad.
Yeah, and Jaden Daniels. Although, wait, is Caleb gone? No, he's not gone. That's not a bad thought because I took Keenan Allen. So if Keenan Allen pays off, that also means Caleb Williams is balling this year. Yeah. So that is a good point here, James.
Surely one of them is good.
And it wouldn't be that far of a reach. So
there's Tua.
If I've got Rashid Shaheed here, though, James.
Okay.
That's a big reach on Tua, by the way. I've got Rashid Shaheed here, and I need a fifth wide receiver on this team. So if Rashid falls to me here, I'm going to take Rashid. But if he gets picked right here, I'll be happy to take Caleb. We'll see what happens.
Need a drum roll effect.
Yeah, we sure do here. Bodsbeck is really taking his time with this pick.
You've taken 30 seconds each time. I don't think you want to talk here. What if he's doing a podcast too?
Yeah, if he's doing a podcast, that's fair. So he takes Brock Purdy. I'm going to take Rashid Shaheed, despite the obvious awesome stack I could get with Caleb and Keenan Allen. Maybe he falls to me. Here.
Maybe we get
Whoa, Nick Chubb.
Oh, damn.
Nick Chubb just went way early. That guy saw the squat video. He just picked. So Nick Chubb's ADP is 139. He's picked him at 113. So basically 2 full rounds ahead of ADP. Wow. Never do that. Never ever do that in best ball. This is a highly efficient ADP historically. Best ball. Who just went?
Caleb went.
Yeah. This is a highly efficient. ADP is highly efficient. Take ADP values where you can. I value ADP ahead of stacking for this version of best ball because this is just a single league, a single 12-team league. I'm not in a massive tournament here. If I was in a massive tournament, I'm definitely taking Caleb Williams because you need those stacks because you're trying to be top 1%, a top 1%. Right here, I'm trying to be like top 8%, top 10% in this league, and I'll turn a massive profit every single time. So
how many places are paid out? Is it the 1, 2, 3?
3. Okay. 3, top 3, and you can pay with a credit card. So third place, you get $3 back. So if you pay with a credit card, you get those rewards back. So if you just make your money back on that $3 credit card payment, you get your extra Sky Miles or whatever.
You're just Amex stacking points right now.
Exactly. So you can Amex stack on Underdog Fantasy Football.
The sad reality is there may eventually be a credit card that only gives you bonus points on gambling.
Oh, no. That would be.
I have a FanDuel Visa.
Yeah. I guess they probably definitely should do that. The FanDuel Visa. Yeah.
I want for free. Gambling companies, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Legally, maybe a little bit sketchy. That's going to be tough to. Is that even?
As long as it's not illegal right now, I can't say either way. I'm not the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you just be able to do it. I'm not the Supreme Court. What was that
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I just play within the rules. If you want to change the rules later, oh well.
So we are getting in a little bit of a pickle here.
129.
A.D. Mitchell has fallen about 10 picks. I don't like A.D. Mitchell. I don't think he's going to work out at all. I've been an anti A.D. Mitchell guy from the beginning, so I'm not going to draft him on a stream, even if he does fall a pretty significant amount.
Yeah.
Wicks is here.
Adam
People
Thielen?
love Wicks.
Thielen? Adam Thielen?
Adam Thielen. Did he just go?
No, I'm just saying he could be an option. I really like Adam Thielen. He's Bryce's number one safety net.
Adam Thielen. He's going 159 at the moment. So if I really wanted to pick him, I can wait a while.
Okay.
Jerry, Jeudy, and Wicks. I think I'm going to be betting against Wicks.
Jeudy.
I'm glad you're in on Jerry Jeudy with me.
Especially with the stack with you got the stack there with Amari. So Amari or Jeudy becomes wide receiver 1 for Deshaun Watson.
And guess who's still available?
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. So I could take Deshaun at 53 here easy, and I could wait and see how many quarterbacks these three guys have and maybe wait because they already have, looks like 2 quarterbacks.
Taking a quarterback.
This guy already has 3 quarterbacks, it looks like. And Freak Out Freddy has, I think, 1 quarterback.
Oh,
so we'll see. We'll see where those quarterbacks land, but I'm probably going to be taking Deshaun at 160 right there. Because stacking still is available, is still advantageous. But knowing that, so 2 tight end build, right, is kind of what we were going for. Jake Ferguson, week 7 bye, and Pat Freiermuth fell about 4 picks. I've got Josh Downs, who I like. I got Justin Herbert, who I like, but not the quarterback I'm looking for this build. So I'm going to take Freiermuth and probably just be done with the tight end position for the rest of this draft, James.
I like it.
I think
neither of those guys are going to be home run hitters, but they'll get you some doubles, some triples.
Freiermuth for sure. Freiermuth will score some points this year. I'm a big believer in this Steelers offense this year. I know everyone had the stink of last year on them because there was a bunch of very handsome men talking into cameras. Not us, not these handsome men. No. But there were handsome men, charismatic, handsome men, Flock Fantasy, BDGE guys talking into cameras with millions of followers, listening to everything that they say, saying like, oh, Pittsburgh's going to be so much better this year. You got to draft all these Pittsburgh players. And, equally handsome but less popular fantasy football analysts like ourselves, maybe I won't speak for you, James, but was like, what's changed? Still the same offensive coordinator, still the same quarterback. Why is this offense just going to snap their fingers and get better? The offense isn't Tomlin's game anyway. And it was just so stupid last year. And I think that's really depressed their value. They got a new quarterback. They got a new offensive coordinator. What if it just works? I guess the offensive line is still maybe a question, but
Matt Canada was the only thing you needed to know. And that was it. Matt Canada left.
Yeah. Matt Canada left. That means the chart's going up and to the right, James, as far as I'm concerned.
Unless they hired the old Falcons head coach, then maybe it would go down a little bit more.
That
would be the worst hire in history, to be honest, to go from Matt Canada.
Hey, you know what is the positive about that hire though?
Yeah.
Is that he runs with 2 tight end sets constantly. He has 2 wide receivers on the field. He has a running back and a tight end, or a running back and a fullback on the field at all times, which means Freiermuth is going to run a lot of wind sprints. He'll block, but he's going to run a lot of wind sprints on that field. And maybe, I don't know, maybe one of those quarterbacks over there will throw him the football. I'm a Russell Wilson believer. I'm a Russell Wilson stan, James.
Stan?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I'll stand for Russell Wilson.
Are you going to start following his everything that he does, or just his quarterbackness?
Well, I'm not going to drink my pee or anything crazy like that.
Okay.
I you know what? I was on a flight home and I did do some wind sprints in the aisle. It was a red eye. People were sleepy. Flight attendant yelled at me, but I was like, I got to do this for Russell Wilson. I need to get my legs loose. So I got a big game coming up when I land here in Dallas.
Jamie's on a no-fly list somewhere now.
I am now in spirit.
Back to the way Jamie runs, because Jamie runs like he's just constantly
elbows out.
You just look like you're ready to grapple at any point.
So James, Xavier Legette, Carolina.
Okay.
Next highest ADP available. Ricky Pearsall, your buddy Darnell Mooney, and then Quentin Johnston.
Why is Darnell Mooney my buddy?
Didn't you say earlier in the podcast that you wanted us to draft Darnell Mooney eventually? Or did I make that up?
You totally made that up.
Oh, good.
Darnell.
So I'm probably gonna draft Quentin Johnston here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mr. James. Last time Harbaugh saw him on a football field, he went for 6 for 162 and a touchdown. I think I got that right when he was playing for TCU.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna get an opportunity.
Yeah,
they're gonna run the ball more. Ladd McConkey is gonna be a guy, but when I'm drafting Quentin Johnston here at 153, what am I expecting out of him? Like if he gets 5 touchdowns this season, I'm like nailed that pick, crushed that pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like he's going to have this massive breakout season. I think it's in the realm of possibility. Everyone's talking about him like he's
a horrible pick there.
Oh my gosh, dude. People love Jermaine Burton, dude. They love him.
I love Jermaine Burton. He's not that good.
No. People love Jermaine Burton. And it's a Cincinnati thing. And, even if one of those, receivers gets traded over there, he's still the number 4 receiver for an injury prone quarterback team. Still doesn't have an offensive line.
Still wide receiver 3. So
AFC North, they play outdoors. Like why? People love Jermaine Burton. I'm so glad you don't, James, because it's just.
I love him as a person, and I love his talents and abilities. I don't love the situation he's in.
Yeah, exactly. It's situational. It's nothing against him as a human being, but when I can draft Jaleel,
if it was about him as a person, so.
Noah Fant. Oh, I forgot to pick Deshaun Watson. Whoops.
You did. We'll get him on the next round. Get him on the next round. He's coming back around.
He'll come back around. I got too excited. I picked Jaleel McLaughlin because we were talking about Jermaine Burton. I just kind of flipped my pick. I still like McLaughlin for what it's worth. I really, really do. I think he could be like a 50-50 back there, and I'm drafting him as my number 4 on my team here in the 14th round. I just think it's a really good value. And if Javonte Williams goes down, I think he ends up just being the bell cow over there for Denver. Not a highly explosive offense, but again, I'm getting him at 160 overall. Definitely should have taken Deshaun. That was a big mistake.
He's coming back.
Geno Smith just went ahead of Deshaun. Deshaun still has a rushing floor, and playing the stack game here.
Oh, there's my boy Adam Thielen. Oh.
If the rest of these guys are playing the stack game as well, I have both Cleveland wide receivers, so they're not going to take Deshaun, even though he does have a rushing floor and a rushing upside. Like he could run the ball a lot this year. If he does fall to me, that would be spectacular. I definitely should have drafted him if I went Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper. And Ray Davis goes instead of Deshaun.
Mama is on the meds, I think, here. Wreck-It Randy's probably your biggest.
Baker Mayfield.
God.
Took Baker Mayfield ahead of Deshaun. There he goes. Deshaun off the board.
No Vantage. Jesus, they've got a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so that guy already has 3 quarterbacks. We have 1. This is a fun draft. People are really reaching. I think Underdog just put out like a big promo or something, like a big advertisement, and there's a big influx of just real dummies.
What do you think is the plus EV time to draft with dumb people? Like 7 o'clock?
I think not right now, but like early draft season, very early in the morning, because you'll get guys that joined a draft room, fell asleep, and the draft room doesn't fill until 7 a.m. early on. Doesn't really work out that way anymore because it just fills kind of constantly.
They have 1 a.m. drafts. Like, can I get somebody who's just blackout drunk who's like, I'm joining a draft right now?
Yes. So late night is definitely positive EV time to draft for sure. So wide receivers, AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen. Rashid Shaheed.
We're up. Jamie.
And Quentin Johnson. I know I'm up. Shoot. And I think I'm just going to have to take, frick.
Will Levis or Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones.
I'm taking Demarcus Robinson. So whoa! I'm done with the wide receiver position for the rest of the draft, which is great. Okay. I got eight wide receivers. Demarcus Robinson really came on towards the end of the season, scored a lot of touchdowns, and they re-signed him, which I'm like, if you re-sign him, McVay has his fingers in a lot of that player personnel stuff, the personnel decision-making on the team, and they re-signed him for a reason. You know, I think over there for the Rams, maybe Cooper Kupp's getting a little bit older. Puka Nacua, obviously the number one there, but they need a number two. And I think they re-signed him to hopefully make him become that number two. And in a Sean McVay offense, I like getting the receivers, especially when Matt Stafford's healthy. And he is right now. So he just fell way too far. Demarcus Robinson, his ADP is 169. What's that, James?
Somebody took Michael Mayer.
That does happen. That's what I'm saying. These there's a lot of dummies drafting right now.
That guy's a backup tight end. I guess he's hoping for a trade.
I guess I am going to scroll down a touch because the quarterbacks are really drying up here late, and take my guy Dan Jones. Rushing upside. Not a fan of Daboll. I am a fan of Neighbors, however. He's going to have a true number one, probably his best receiver he's ever thrown to in his whole entire career.
Yep.
Played for Duke, right? So no chance there was a Malik Neighbors that he was throwing to at Duke. And who would you say would even be in consideration as a upper tier wide receiver that Daniel Jones has ever thrown to? Can you even think of one? I can't.
I think just the tight end position has been his best option with
Waller last year, retired guy now.
I think Waller's the best pass catcher that he's had.
I think you're right. And that's saying something. And I think you're true. I think that's right. And he sucked. Waller sucked when he was on the Giants. So they've improved the O-line there. Hopefully it sticks together. He still got that rushing floor. He did 2 years ago. He is coming off of his ACL, right? So you got to keep an eye on that. But he did 2 years ago had the highest quarterback GPS speed time in the NFL that year. The reason he broke it is because he broke it while he was falling forward on his big long run where he tripped over the 20-yard line, and he tripped like obnoxiously for like 15 yards. Remember that? He was going like 22 and a half miles an hour while he was falling. So he's got speed. Is all I'm saying. He's the fastest quarterback in the NFL, some people say.
I like the idea that theoretically a quarterback could be running out of the pocket and just get absolutely clobbered from behind, and that's what sets the GPS record.
So yeah, I like Dan Jones there. I'm probably going to need to take a Russell Wilson here. I only have 2 more picks to take. So I do have a little bit of a weak quarterback room, but my wide receiver room is stacked. Would have been really, really nice to have remembered to draft Deshaun Watson, James. Thanks for reminding me.
I was trying to. You just
we were
your cabinet. That's not my fault.
This is whose fault is it? This is Jermaine Burton's fault.
It is Jermaine Burton's fault.
This is all Jermaine Burton's fault. Nice guy.
Problems.
Braylon Allen might fall to me here. He's going at 189. He's the highest guy on the board at the moment. I'm up in 4 picks, and he would be a nice 5th guy to put on my team. Derek Carr is coming up here, James.
Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler.
Oh no.
Yes.
Russell Wilson just went, so that's not good.
Take Spencer Rattler with your last pick. He's going to be a starting quarterback by week 2.
I'm not taking Spencer Rattler.
Okay.
I would take Bo Nix. I would take Bo Nix over Spencer Rattler at the moment.
I would.
There
you go. See?
Oh no. This is going poorly. And then there goes Derek Carr.
Spencer Rattler. Throw it in
I'm
Brady.
not taking Spencer Rattler. I'm not.
Right in Brady Pro 58.
Rattler.
I don't even believe that Derek Carr will play.
You know who is still available?
Spencer Rattler.
Is Spencer Rattler.
I think
and Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell.
I think the best pick option you got out of you have 2 starting quarterbacks who are going to be decent. Spencer Rattler could be in the top 20 quarterbacks if he starts. I have no doubt about that. He's a runner. He's going to put up fantasy points.
Does he run?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Spencer runs. Spencer's mobile, dude.
Oh, this is not great. This is not great. So my quarterbacks right now, Jaden Daniels and Dan Jones. Do I feel comfortable just trotting them out every single week? Probably not.
Oh, come on.
My running back room stacked, my wide receiver room stacked. I could take a higher shot on a guy like Colby Parkinson at the tight end position. I also am a big fan of Mike Gesicki for Cincinnati. I don't really understand why he's not getting more hype around him. Sign a 1-year deal with the Bengals. It's going to be a good offense. He's probably going to outscore Jermaine Burton. I'll tell you that much.
He definitely will.
So I don't mind taking. He's a good player and he's on a good team.
It's your last pick of the draft. Why not go for the biggest home run ball possible? Getting a top 20 quarterback in the NFL.
Spencer Rattler. Well, if I'm going for a top 20 quarterback, I'd go for Gardner Minshew, but he's probably not going to start week 1 like we talked about last week, James.
But you know who would start after Derek Carr absolutely ruins his first 2 weeks of starts?
So what are you thinking, Colby Parkinson or Mike Gesicki? Colby Parkinson signed to the Rams. They signed him to a lot of money.
I'd go Gesicki.
Rams are looking for a tight end. They want
Gesicki
one.
He is a red zone master.
You're right. Gesicki with Joe Burrow throw him the football. He's gonna be a tight end 1. I think he's gonna be a tight end 1 there. Should be. Team is full.
I want to see if Spencer Rattler goes to one of the other teams. Justin Fields just went. Come on. There's no way.
The last round is usually pretty fun. JJ McCarthy. I think we're in good shape here, James. So quarterback room, Jaden Daniels, Dan Jones. If Jaden Daniels just stays healthy.
That's our weakest link, and it's not that bad of a weak link.
It's not that bad. Daniel Jones probably will have a bounce back season. I think he'll start all the games this year. Jaden Daniels, week 1 starter. Washington, new offensive or new everything over there in terms of the coaching staff. Jaden Daniels, he's got Scary Terry over there. I don't think Brandon Ayuk is going to end up over there, if I had to guess. But I think
happen.
I think he's going to run the football a lot. If he has like that kind of RG3 style season, I think there's a lot of upside for Jaden Daniels in Washington.
What was the last pick? We missed the last pick.
What was the last pick? I don't know. Hold on. Why are you that interested?
I must know. I mean, Mr. Relevant. Come on. It's a fun.
Well, a guy who's out with foot surgery for the rest of the season probably just got drafted at 215, and it's not going to show us. It's not going to show us. I don't know who. Dully was the last pick. He took at 216. Oh, he took Greg Dortch. That's not a bad pick.
That's not bad at all. How is
not a bad pick at all. So shout out to Dully over there. So running or wide receiver room or quarterback room, slightly concerning. Don't love how it ended up. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if I didn't have Jaleel McLaughlin. Instead, if I had Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones, it's really what I would have recommended if we were, not podcasting, talking shit about Jermaine Burton, who you know personally, during that pick.
Do you seem a little sour about this? I don't know. Are you upset about this or something?
No, this is fine because this is why. Jonathan Taylor, James Cook, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. 3
guys who have top 12 RB1 upside, in my opinion. Raheem Mostert was RB3 last year. Jonathan Taylor, once he was fully integrated back into the offense, he was running back 3 in that time frame. He was
Yep.
top 3 running back. And then James Cook was really, really solid last year. And I expect him to be really, really solid this year. Over 1,500 total offensive yards. Just didn't get lucky with touchdowns. Someone's going to have to score touchdowns for Buffalo. They're going to score them. Someone's got to do it. And it might be James. Jaleel McLaughlin, Braylon Allen, 2 kind of handcuff backs who I also consider to have a relatively high floor because I think they're going to be involved in the offense week 1. And if the starting running back goes down, or if Jaleel McLaughlin wins the starting position, which reportedly is possible, I'm not buying into it whatsoever, but people are saying it's possible. I have 4, really, really solid running backs on this team. Wide receiver room, over the moon's about it. AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Rashid Shaheed, Jerry Jeudy, Quentin Johnston, Demarcus Robinson. All guys. I think my top 4 guys easily catch for over 1,000 yards.
Oh, yeah.
I think Rashid Shaheed could. And I think Jerry Jeudy, Quentin Johnston, and Demarcus Robinson have the possibility to score a lot of touchdowns this year.
Jerry Jeudy wasn't in the 4 that you would catch 1,000 because I marked that number up to 5 then if Jerry Jeudy was not there.
Okay, 5. So Rashid Shaheed, Quentin Johnston, Demarcus Robinson, my touchdown scorers, hopefully. And I probably have 5-ish 1,000+ receiving yard receivers loading.
You're probably going to have between Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy whoever catches more passes from Deshaun that week, each week.
Yep.
100%.
And then stack tight end room. I went Mike Gesicki with that late pick there, and then I got Freiermuth and Ferguson. So a position room I'm expecting to hopefully kind of bridge that gap with my mid quarterback room. James?
You just took your tall white guy room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love my tall whites. Thank you for being on, James. Not a public figure. Check out our gambling podcast because we're already moving numbers like we discussed. Thank you for being on, buddy. Any kind of closing words for the audience?
You really need to be ready to go on these best balls with 30 seconds. You got to have your list and you got to be marking this off real quick.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I want to do these videos because it does kind of become muscle memory. And that's honestly why I really fucked up there with Jaleel McLaughlin because it's just muscle memory. I love drafting him and I will stack Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson when I can. But I'm usually drafting an early quarterback. One just didn't fall to me this time. And I just really goofed up and took Jaleel McLaughlin. It'll probably end up and we'll probably win a championship with this roster anyways, just because there were a lot of dummies in this room. So yeah, you got to be prepared. It's 30 seconds. It's fast, but it's fun. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. You kind of learn to manage everything faster the more you do it.
Drafting a couple free ones first.
What's that?
Draft a couple free ones first, do a couple mocks, then you hop into the big boy money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those mocks only help you so much because you're not going to have people with money at stake. Mm-hmm. And because of that, you're going to, miss here or there. But yeah, exactly. Start out. I would even recommend you could even do 3-person drafts in best ball, which is like 3 teams. That's how I started out. As I did 3-person drafts and then I did 12-person drafts just to kind of get yourself accustomed with the app, with the format, with the ADP, at least in the early rounds with the 3-person drafts. And I kind of expanded from there. I also absolutely dominated though. I think I did like 12 of them when I first started out. And I think I won like 8 of them, like first place. So even when you only have a 1 in 3 odds, like I crushed those. So I think pretty dumb people that are probably new are the ones that are taking those drafts. So I probably should be sprinkling those in here or there. But yeah, any last thoughts, James?
Yeah, I just want to start doing some bunch of best ball drafts now.
Well, go ahead and use my promo code JAMJKSHB and you'll get your first deposit matched and I will get $10 in credit.
At Underdog, right?
The old folks at Underdog Fantasy Football. There's other fantasy football things you can do on the app as well. You can do like golf, you can do daily fantasy, you can do season long, like over-unders as well.
Can you bet on Heisman?
You cannot. There's no prop bets. It's like gambling, but it's not really gambling, which is why I love it and why we do it in Texas. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment telling me I'm such an idiot for forgetting to draft Deshaun Watson. Thank you, and good night.